Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on a levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. Got slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit on my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboys Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's stream. We have Monday Night Football, Kansas City Chiefs, New York Giants. I cannot wait for this game. Ben, are you as excited as I am? Probably not.
I'm excited, but it's a tough day for me as a Broncos fan right now. So.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on like that, right? So I mean, I guess Von Miller's the only trade that happened, but there's a lot of big news, just generally speaking, in the NFL right now. We have Von Miller, as we know, getting traded from the Broncos to the Rams, and the Broncos didn't get a first-round pick in return.
It's okay. I mean, we actually got Von, I think, for I want to say it was a first, or we drafted him in the first round.
Yeah, he was the second overall pick.
So to get 2 picks 10 years later, I think when you put it that way, it's not the worst deal.
No, I mean, and his contract is expiring at the end of the year. It was probably unlikely that the Broncos bring him back, and they still could bring him back in free agency. There's nothing stopping that from happening. But definitely, it is kind of the face of the franchise. That he's going to have his number retired someday. Probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. So I understand. Yeah. It's a day of mourning.
It is, yeah. So whatever. I mean, we're here to talk about the Giants and the Chiefs. So
yeah. Well, I think it makes sense to talk about some of this other stuff. So we had at least two big injuries yesterday as well. Derrick Henry, as Jay Ballin said, the most important one. 6 to 10 weeks, I believe, was the prognosis. He broke 5th metatarsal, something like that. That's the bone that connects your pinky to your foot. So that's not a good one to break. I was reading about this because I was curious. It's a weight-bearing bone in your foot. So it's actually going to be really hard for him to work out, and it's probably going to take a while for him to get back to 100%, even after the injury itself heals, because you can't do squats with that leg, for example.
Yeah.
And then also Jameis Winston, torn ACL, out for the year. So
that's tough, man. Trevor Siemian season.
It is. Unless Taysom Hill comes back.
Taysom Hill.
Just in time.
Just in time.
But you never know.
They could run a little 2-quarterback system.
Yeah, I think they have some experience doing that. I think that if there's a team set up to do that, it's them.
Yeah, be the first NFL team to win with a 2-quarterback system, the Super
Honestly,
Bowl. I think.
They should just put 6 quarterbacks on the field. They should just bring in Cam Newton, bring in Colin Kaepernick, and then just line up, play 4 or 5 quarterbacks on the field at once.
Nick, I think I've implanted this idea into your head because I said this last year. Do you remember when I'm like, they should just run a system where the wide receiver is like an Edelman type guy, but he can throw it. I mean, imagine the defenses. They would be so caught off guard. They would have to watch extra film. It would be like the spread offense 3.0.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say it won't work.
One day,
yeah, you never know.
Yeah, the game
gotta
will
break
evolve.
out Madden and try it. Gotta take a bunch of quarterbacks, change them to running backs and receivers and stuff, and I don't even think that there's a way to make all these crazy triple, quadruple, flea flicker, reverse, and then somebody's wide open down the field.
It would be crazy.
It would be crazy. So hopefully today we don't see any injuries. That's my transition.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the New York Football Giants and the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Giants coming in at 2-5. Chiefs, very underwhelming season. Last place in the AFC West right now at 3-4. Chiefs at home favored by 10.5 points. Total set at 52.5. Although both of these numbers are varying a little bit. I'm seeing some 11s in some different spots. And PointsBet looks like they've moved this up to 53. It was actually 53.5, I think, when we started the stream. Superbook still has the same numbers that I have up on the screen. And Draftkings has this at plus 11 for the Giants, minus 11 for the Chiefs, and a total of 53. So 3 different books, 3 different numbers. What's up, T. Cherry? Hope you're doing well. But yeah. Ben, do you want to start off the discussion of this game?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few things going on here. Obviously, the Chiefs, we weren't expecting them to be under 500 here.
No, not at all.
I would say. And if you did, you're probably just a Raiders or Broncos fan, and you said it out of spite. Because no one thought this, right? I mean, with Patrick Mahomes, his caliber of play, even if a defense isn't playing well, you just expect one way or another for the Chiefs to pull out victories. But that hasn't been the case, and they haven't been covering games. I think over the last 12, Nick, they're 2-10 against the spread. It might even be 2-12 in the last 14. I mean,
they'd never cover the spread. They're 2-5 this season against the spread, and I'm sure down the stretch last year they had several games where they didn't cover as well.
Yeah, and Nick and I have been talking about this. If you've listened to the streams weekly, the books just set a number, and it seems that the public just bets the Chiefs. And I think finally last week we saw that kind of shift for the first time, I think, over that 12-14 game stretch.
Yeah, if you look at the opening numbers or the look-ahead lines, and then you look at where they close, it's always moving in the Chiefs' direction every single week. And that's because of exactly what Ben said. Everybody wants to go bet on the Chiefs. And I think this game is no exception. Let me pull up where this opened at. So we're looking at 10.5s or 11s right now. I want to say that this was in the 9 range. Oh, no, actually, it was a 13. Look ahead was a 13.
Yeah, and then it dropped.
On the 24th. So the minus 13 was like a way look ahead. On the 24th, which I think is Sunday night, this was at 9.5.
Because Giants won, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the Chiefs got destroyed for the second time in 3 weeks by Tennessee, and Patrick Mahomes left that game with a concussion. Probably. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say via PointsBet, I'm showing 70% of the money is on the Chiefs.
Yeah, completely understandable. I mean, why? I don't think anybody is rushing to bet on the Giants here, except for Trent.
Yeah, maybe Trent's finally not a square better.
Well, yeah, I mean, and every time that we are aligned with Trent, we've been winning. So yes. we are the curse breakers. I take full credit for that.
So no opinion for me, I would say. On the side,
I like the Giants.
You like the Giants?
Yeah, I do like the Giants. So I just think that the Giants are healthy, or they're getting healthy. That's a big thing for them. This offense in that week 3, week 4 range really looked like it was ready to break out. Kadarius Toney had a huge breakout game. Daniel Jones won an Offensive Player of the Week. And then their entire receiving corps, plus Saquon Barkley, all went down with injuries. Barkley is still out. Kenny Golladay is still out. But the Giants are going to have Kadarius Toney. They're going to have Sterling Shepard. They're going to have Darius Slayton. Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph at tight end are both healthy. And I think that having options is going to be huge for Daniel Jones. And Toney looked electric. I mean, Jamar Chase probably... It's hard to say he's not the best rookie wide receiver in this draft class, but Kadarius Toney I think if he had been healthy all year, could be giving Chase a run for his money.
I think he's a easy second. I don't know what other rookie wide receiver you're going to put above him. He's really good.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think that's big, and I think that my dog is laying on her back with her paws up, going like "arr" and barking. So if you can hear her, that's what's going on. I got to get like a blue cam that I can switch to put in the bottom corner. But yeah, I think that, so we've seen the Chiefs don't stop people on offense. That like the fewest points the Chiefs have allowed this year was 13 against Washington. Every other team, I guess, and the second fewest was Tennessee, but all the other teams that they've played have put up 30 plus against the Chiefs. Not just like 20 plus, 30 plus. Plus a 13 from Washington and a 27 from Tennessee. And again, I think that with the healthy receiving options, at least offensively, the Giants are in for a big game.
Yeah.
So
I agree, because you already know what I'm thinking about this total here.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking about this total. And what is that?
It's the over.
It's the over.
Yeah, I like it at 53, but I locked it in early at 52, but I still like it here.
Yeah, I think 52.5 right now is the consensus number, so that's what we're going to roll with on the stream. The model has this game going under. It actually has the Giants winning straight up, which is, on the one hand, obviously surprising, but on the other hand, it's been picking against the Chiefs with success pretty much every week. It had the Titans winning outright. It had the Ravens winning outright against the Chiefs, and both of those happened. So I think that the Giants are probably not going to win outright, but I like the cover. And despite the model liking the under, I agree with you. I think that this is going to go over. I think that Kansas City they kind of just have to be a little bit more effective on offense.
Yeah, and
they're not that bad.
I made this point to someone else who asked me what I thought about the total. And I said it this way. I said, hey, if you look at the Chiefs defense and you look at their offense, and both of them have probably been subpar, I think it's safe to say, based on expectations. Of course, the defense, and you can make the case for the offense because it's not as explosive as it's looked years prior. But I think the offense is way closer to clicking than the defense is. Yeah, for that, I just feel confident that, a Giants team with their secondary, they haven't looked great in the secondary, and I just still have faith in Mahomes. It sounds cliche, and it's, hey, they're going to turn it around, but a primetime game at home against an average defense, I think that's a great spot for their offense to get things going. But, I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to run away with this and win by 3 touchdowns, but I think they put up over 30.
Yeah, and I think the key for them is just not turning the ball over. That's been the big Achilles heel. It's been something that Patrick Mahomes has had a lot of success with throughout his career up until this season, is not turning the ball over. And this season, it's kind of just all fallen apart. And this Giants defense is not really a predatory defense in terms of forcing tons of turnovers. So if the Chiefs do turn the ball over, it's going to be them kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And I don't think they're going to do that.
That has to be a point of emphasis. I mean, at a certain point, if you're in a position where you're down 3 touchdowns, I get it, right? That Titans game, fine. You had to stretch the field a little bit, maybe be a little more aggressive with your throws, and how Mahomes is running with the ball. But if they're in a position where they're only down a score or they're up, I think you have to be a little more conservative. And that's okay, because I think this team, if they don't turn the ball over tonight, I feel really good about this going over.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So are we in agreement? I think in agreement, despite the model not liking it with the over. And are you cool with putting the Giants up?
Yeah.
As a lead?
I'm fine with that.
All right. So let's move on to the player prop market. I also see we got Matt in here says, let's ride G-Men. I like the G-Men here. And Max showing up to the stream for the first, or at least chatting in the stream for the first time in a long-ass time. Thank you for tuning in again, Max. Says, first TD, our favorite type of prop.
Yeah.
We can touch on the first TD if you stick around. So, speaking of player props, I'm going to move over to Draftkings since I like the interface a little bit better. We've got Daniel Jones over under 255.5. Pat Mahomes over under 302.5.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Daniel Jones' number seem so low?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I know why it seems low. It's because everybody throws for a ton of yards against the Chiefs. I don't know why it actually is set this low.
I wonder if they expect a little bit of a run game today.
I don't think that's going to happen with Davonte Booker. I mean, it might happen with Daniel Jones on the ground. So the two quarterbacks who have gone under this number against the Chiefs. So the Chiefs have played 7 games, 5 quarterbacks way over this number. 2 quarterbacks under it. We saw Lamar Jackson only threw for 239, but he did have more than 100 rushing yards in that game as well. And then in week 6, Taylor Heineke had the worst game a quarterback has had against the Chiefs this year, where he only threw for 182. But I think it definitely could be the running game. But I think the number's too low. I love this over. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, my only argument against it is it's too low, and I'm scared.
it feels too good to be true.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's not going to turn me off of a bet that I like.
Which of the cliches will pull through here? No, cliche is not the right word, but you know what I mean. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, or don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
I think I've only heard that second one like twice, so I guess we'll go with that.
Yeah, I said that, and I was like, feels like something my grandma would say.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a gift horse is. So, I mean,
Okay.
It's got to be a horse.
All right, Nick, tell me this. How does this not hit? I guess if the Chiefs are up or if Daniel Jones just has a really bad game.
Yes, there's a couple ways it doesn't hit. One of them is Daniel Jones getting hurt. We were on Daniel Jones over prop in the game that he left with a concussion. So that loss. So that's one way that this doesn't hit, is injury. But aside from that, which we're never going to count on injuries happening in game to players who aren't hurt. It just somehow the Chiefs controlling the ball and running clock is how this doesn't hit, and that's not their style. They're a big play offense. They like to hurry. They like to hurry on offense. They're not going to give Daryl Williams 30 carries or something in this game. They don't have a lot of depth at running back either, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire out. So I don't think that's going to happen. So it kind of has to be either Daniel Jones getting hurt or somehow Davonte Booker has the game of his life. That's it. Like, if the Giants are up, it's going to be because Daniel Jones has had success. If the Giants are down, Daniel Jones is going to throw the ball.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at this.
Yeah, I think it's a play that feels independent of the game flow, which is hard to find, but that makes something a really good prop. So I like this Daniel Jones play quite a bit. What about Patrick Mahomes? So this number's up to 303.5 now. It was at 302.5 when we started, but the over was juiced. So now we're looking at minus 115 both ways on this 303.
Looks better now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Mahomes. He'll get his 150, 200 yards in the first half maybe. And then it is interesting because this one feels a little more game flow dependent, right? And now it's 304.
They see the 307 that the model has, and they're moving it that way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jazz.
I just think that it's a number that the Chiefs get up big. Yeah, you could see some conservative play calls. That's my thoughts on that. I have no opinion as far as, because I actually think this game could be somewhat close throughout, and then I can see the Chiefs kind of pulling out a little later in the game. So I don't know. I'm indifferent on this number.
Yeah, I'm a little indifferent too. 304 is a lot. I think if we like the Giants to cover and the game to go over, then like you said, it's going to be a close game. So what that means is that it's not going to be run from the Chiefs. Not like it really ever is anyways. But we could see more passes than you might expect from a regular team that's up down the stretch from the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And it has like backdoor cover potential, I suppose. The Giants defense has actually only allowed one quarterback over this number all year. Granted, they've lost a lot of games, so teams aren't throwing on them all the time. And they haven't necessarily played the best quarterbacks. But in week 1, Teddy Bridgewater, 264. Week 2, Taylor Heineke, the only quarterback to go over this number at 336. It's kind of funny. Heineke had his worst game of the year against the Chiefs, best game of the year against the Giants. But Matt Ryan, 243. Jameis Winston, 235. Dak Prescott, 302. So barely under, and that's the best QB they've faced this year. Matt Stafford, 251. Might also be the best QB. Sam Darnold, 112.
Wow.
So I think a lot of that is down to game flow as opposed to the Giants having some kind of elite pass D. But, I mean, that is what it is. Hold on. I have to go close my window. My dog is growling at stuff. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, so just to kind of recap these numbers, feels like Daniel Jones over is a little safer than Mahomes, just based off of the game flow. Because either way, I think Daniel Jones can hit that number. And if Kadarius Toney's healthy, which sounds like he's pretty much close to full healthy, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So on the Toney note, I'm actually going to take a peek at injury news. So these should be out now. So on the Giants side. I actually don't see official injury reports yet, which is a little strange.
Well, the line would have probably moved if Toney was out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm expecting him to play. So one thing to note with Toney, though, is that he was hurt and then missed a game and then came back and then got hurt in that game, re-aggravating the same injury. So I don't think that they'll play him unless he is healthier.
Yeah,
because this is an injury that he has already re-aggravated once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sterling and Kadarius both playing, confirmed as active for tonight. Awesome. I love to see that.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't actually refresh this page. That's why it didn't show up. Yeah. Okay. That'll do it.
Yep.
So you ready to move on to some rushing props?
Yep.
All right. So on the side of the Giants, who I'm going to go first because Daniel Jones is on the top, we got Daniel Jones over under 27.5. We've got Davonte Booker over under 47.5. Either of these guys stand out to you in any way?
No.
Kind of with you.
Anything from you?
The Daniel Jones number feels like I want to say I like Daniel Jones over, but 27.5 is a little high for him. So quarterbacks against the Chiefs. They faced a few who like to run the ball. Lamar Jackson, 107 yards. Jalen Hurts, 47 yards. Josh Allen, 59 yards. Some other guys who are kind of second-tier running quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Ryan Tannehill, Taylor Heineke all missed this number by a significant margin. Herbert was the highest of them at 16. Daniel Jones hasn't been running the ball as much recently. So last week, he had 8 carries for 28 yards. But the 2 weeks before that, against the Rams and against the Cowboys, he only had 3 carries in each game, didn't break double digits. So I am a little bit scared of Daniel Jones over here. Although at the same time, it might be a good look for Daniel Jones to take a passing plus rushing prop instead of just the passing or just the rushing. Because I honestly think that you could add these 27 yards to the passing prop, and I'd probably still lean over. And the passing plus rushing is a way to just hedge for what Daniel Jones is doing. You're going to pay an extra 5 yards or so to add the two together, but you get some insurance on that. So you don't have to pick the right one.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and Clockworks, I think you're completely right with what you said here. The Jones rushing line opened at 22.5. I think they kept him in the pocket those 2 low weeks because he was fresh off the concussion. Yep. They're back to letting him run again, as we saw last week. And I think that's completely right. So if we look at the carries, 6, 9, and 8 in the first 3 weeks, and then 4 in the week that he left in the middle of the game. So that's kind of half the total. And then 8 last week. So pretty consistent in that 8 to 9 carry range. And if he does get 8 to 9 carries, this flies over. What about Davonte Booker?
I do lean over a little bit for him, but I'm not going to bet that. I mean, Chiefs defense, both passing and rushing, hasn't been great, but it just, I just wonder how many opportunities Booker actually gets.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a question of concern. So on the Chiefs side, we have Daryl Williams at 58.5, Patrick Mahomes at 22.5. Any thoughts on either of those guys? So also, I want to say the model with Clyde Edwards-Helaire out is just completely fucked with the Chiefs rushing props. It thinks that Jerick McKinnon is the guy, just because in the time frame that the model knows, McKinnon has been the guy a lot more often than Daryl Williams has been the guy. So you can basically just take these McKinnon yards and give a lot of them to Williams.
And Chris, I don't know if it's a shocker because the Chiefs have looked terrible. Yeah, I know it's a 10-point spread. I get it. So, Nick, the Mahomes over is very interesting. I was leaning over, but the more I think about it with this concussion, well, I guess he didn't really have a concussion, but he was in the protocol. How many opportunities will he take? But I still think he'll scramble and get yards here and there. He's just not going to take any hits. He'll just run out of bounds. But if the Giants get into a defense where they're just dropping their safeties and the linebackers are deep, he may have a lot of opportunities to run for 4 or 5 yards tonight. So I kind of lean over there.
Yeah, I think that this over is a good look as well. So Mahomes, the last 5 weeks, has gone over this number every time. And this is kind of coinciding with defenses figuring out how you stop the Chiefs. And that's playing defense exactly like you just said. Safeties deep, linebackers deeper as well. And what that does is it eliminates the big play threat for the Chiefs, but it also opens up rushing opportunities for Mahomes. So this 22.5 number, I think the over is a good look as well. Defensively, the Giants have not allowed a ton of rushing yards to quarterbacks, but they haven't faced a whole lot of guys who actually like to run the ball. Teddy Bridgewater, 3 for 19. Jameis Winston, I guess Taysom Hill actually had all the rushes from quarterbacks for the Saints, 6 for 28. But nobody else has come close to this number. But again, I mean, you're looking at guys like Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford as a couple of examples of guys. So them not getting this number doesn't say a whole lot. So I'm with you. I like the over.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So do you want to move on to receiving props?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. And is there a team that you'd like to start with?
No, we can start with either or.
Okay, so we're going to go with the Chiefs because they got the first guy. We got Brian Pringle, who had a pretty big game last week, over under 22.5. Daryl Williams, over under 16.5. Demarcus Robinson, over under 14.5. Jerick McKinnon, over under 9.5. Mecole Hardman over under 38.5. Travis Kelce over under 80.5. Tyreek Hill over under 82.5.
Tyreek Hill over 82.5 is interesting to me.
Why is that?
He's been quiet, but you got to think that Mahomes and Hill are going to connect on a deep ball tonight. I'm tiptoeing on the do narrative, but it kind of feels that way, Nick.
Yeah, so number one receivers have had quite a bit of success against the Giants this year. So in week 1, Jerry Jeudy, 6 catches for 72 yards, which for Jeudy is an above average game. Week 2, Terry McLaurin, 11 for 107. Week 3, Calvin Ridley had 8 for 61. Week 4, Saints didn't really do anything, but Marquez Callaway actually did have 2 catches for 74 yards. CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper both had over 60 in week 5. Week 6, Cooper Kupp had 130. And then last week, DJ Moore had 73. So you're kind of seeing the worst performance from a number one receiver is in that like 60 to 70 yard range. And Tyreek Hill is better than all these guys.
Yeah, and his numbers, they're very boom or bust, right? Because he's got to have one of the highest furthest completion numbers per catch, right? Or yards per catch. He's got to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think if you're looking at the bigger picture with the Chiefs offense and what they've failed to do in the past, I think it makes sense for us to look at this over. The only thing that scares me is that teams have been dropping their safeties pretty deep. But at the same time, I think there's other ways that Hill can get the ball. It doesn't just have to be your traditional go route.
Yeah.
I mean, he could get a 10-yard crossing pattern ball and run for another 20 yards. So I like this number.
Yeah, so you know it's kind of funny. So Hill has hit this number only 2 out of 7 games this year. In those 2 games, he went over it by more than 100 yards.
That is very boom or bust on that number.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's trending upwards. He had a couple of games, week 2 and week 3, with just 4 targets and 7 targets. But the last 3 weeks, even though he hasn't hit this number, he's been averaging more than 10 targets a game. At least 6 catches a game. So I think if he gets that, I think that he should trend towards going over this number.
Yeah, and in that Tennessee game, there were at least 2 attempts and targets that were, I know one for a fact was like a deep 30, 40-yard attempt. And then I think there's another deep one. So they're still taking those shots. So that's good for me to see as far as speaking to this number. It just comes down to, can they capitalize and get a completion like that? Because then that sends the number over. You get a 40-yard catch, you're feeling really good.
Yep, definitely. And I think that he'll get a big one today.
Yeah. Longest completion?
Longest completion.
It's got to be, what, 20, maybe 30?
25 and a half.
25 and a half.
Are you on a longest completion kick?
I am. I've been pretty hot with them, too. I guess I missed Rondell Moore, I think, last game. But, yeah, Tyreek Hill over 25 and a half. That's interesting. I mean, both of they're obviously correlated.
Yes.
Especially Hill.
Anybody else on the Chiefs that you'd like to talk about?
Not really. Do you have anything?
No, not really. I mean, I think Kelce and Hill are really going to be the big guys today. Tight ends have also had quite a bit of success against the Giants, at least teams that utilize their tight ends. A lot have had some success against the Giants. Like we saw the Broncos, Noah Fant and Alberto combined 10 catches for 85 yards. Ricky Seals-Jones and Logan Thomas on the Washington football team, 6 for 64. The Cowboys, Dalton Schultz, 6 for 79. Some other teams that don't utilize the tight ends as much haven't had as much success, but teams with some of the better tight ends that the Giants have faced have had above average games for them. So I think that Kelsey, I don't want to go over this 82.5 necessarily, but I think that he's going to get a big share as well. And then as far as the secondary options are concerned, it's really just a matter of, I don't want to call it luck, because there probably is something there, but I don't really know what that something is that determines, is it going to be Mecole Hardman, or is it going to be Brian Pringle, or is it going to be Demarcus Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, I don't really want to deal with that.
Yeah, sometimes it seems that it's always like low-hanging fruit with these 14.5s, but you got to be careful, because
the fruit hangs low for a reason.
Exactly.
So let's move on to the Giants and their receiving props. So we've got Darius Slayton, over under 32.5. Davonte Booker, over under 16.5. Evan Ingram, 34.5. Kadarius Toney, 54.5. Sterling Shepard, 59.5. Kyle Rudolph, 7.5.
Speaking of low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm. It's like when there's a quarterback like Tom Brady and the rushing prop is 0.5.
Yeah. Speaking of low-hanging fruit, Nick, Tyreek Hill rushing yards over 0.5.
Maybe.
That's low-hanging fruit.
Well,
at least it feels like it.
It's just low. It's not fruit. It doesn't feel like fruit.
Yeah.
Fruit is appetizing. That seems disgusting.
I saw that one and I'm
seems
like,
stressful.
Wow. Yeah. So let's talk about Toney.
Yeah, Toney is, I think, the most interesting guy here. So the 2 weeks that Kadarius Toney was healthy and had a featured role. So no, this is with Sterling Shepard out, with Darius Slayton out. In weeks 4 and week 5. 6 catches for 78 yards. 10 catches for 189 yards. And then in week 6, he only played 1 drive in that game. He aggravated his injury on the first drive of the game. But in that 1 drive, 3 catches for 36 yards. I think that Jones is going to be really happy to have Toney back. I think that he's going to look for him. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's been targeting him, so it's not just us speculating. I mean, I know he's a rookie, but even with this other guy's back, I think that just helps this offense. I think that there's enough to go around, especially looking at kind of the game flow. And he's proven it already. So I have to go with this over here.
Yeah, I really like this Toney over. And again, Glackworks, you keep saying things that I agree with a lot. I like that. Toney's route running is high level.
Yeah.
Ben, have you watched him? Like,
I have
watched for that, because you were a college wide receiver. You know how to actually look at route running and say if it's good or bad.
You know what's funny? He reminds me of Jerry Jeudy, Jerry Judy's rookie year, except he catches the ball. Because Jeudy would run these magnificent routes and then just drop the ball.
Yeah,
Tony's running the routes and he's catching the ball.
Yeah, he feels like he's always open.
Yeah.
And like you said, he always catches the ball. I mean, his catch reception to target rate is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like this Toney over. I think that he's Daniel Jones' new favorite toy. I think if he stays healthy, he's gonna have a great game.
And I think that's the only concern here, but you alluded to it. If he's out, or if he's out on the field and he's playing, he's healthy.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to risk him again, because they saw what happened in week 6 when he left the game with an injury. And I don't think they want to risk it. He's their first round pick. They want to keep him healthy. They know kind of what the tolerance is for what's going to make him leave the game. So he's got to be healthier than that if he's in.
Yeah, and Toney's yards after catch, he's at top 4 for his total yards.
Yeah, and I think that accompanies the route running.
Yeah, because he's so wide open, no one's around him, so of course he's going to get yards after catch.
Yeah. So any other guys? So Shepard actually has a higher number at 59.5. So let's take a look at Sterling Shepard this year. So he was definitely the number one option in this offense when he's been healthy. Week 1, 113 yards for Sterling Shepard on 7 catches. Week 2, 9 catches for 94 yards. And again, this is before the breakout of Tony. In week 3, Shepard got hurt early in the game, only had 2 catches for 16 yards. That's where we kind of saw Tony emerge a little bit. And then but against the Rams in week 6, I think he actually Shepard missed week 7. But he had 10 catches for 76 yards. And this is the game that Tony left after the first drive. So I think this 59.5 also feels like a good value for an over. I don't really like taking 2 receiving overs on the same team, but I think that these numbers are low enough that it's not going to have the negative correlation between them isn't going to have a huge impact.
Want me to take this even a step further?
Yeah, always.
Okay, can we take a look at Evan Ingram's number?
Oh God, Evan Ingram is terrible. If you think Jerry Jeudy has bad hands,
hey, I'm not saying he has great hands, but what's the number at?
34.5.
Okay, that's a little high. If it was closer to 25, I would like that over because tight ends have absolutely cooked this Chiefs defense.
Yeah, that's true. So let's take a look at how some tight ends have done. Week 1, the Browns, their 3 tight end combo, 7 catches for 120 yards. Week 2, Mark Andrews and Josh Oliver on the Ravens combined for 6 for 66. It's a little ominous. Week 3, Jared Cook and Donald Parham combined for 3 for 36. Week 4, Goddard and Ertz, 11 for 116. Week 5, Dawson Knox, 3 for 117 yards. He cooked the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was when people are like, maybe the Chiefs are really bad on defense. And we're like, yeah, we've been saying that.
Yeah, week 6, Ricky Seals-Jones, 4 for 58. Week 7, Michael Pruitt, Jeff Swaim, Anthony Ferkser combined 4 for 44. So tight ends have been having a lot of success against the Chiefs. There's no doubt about that. I do worry a little bit about Ingram at this number.
Yeah.
I think that he's at best the definite number 3 option in the passing attack. I think Tony and Shepard in some order are definitely higher than Ingram on the totem pole. And I think that Ingram is kind of in the same tier as a guy like Slayton.
And then you look at Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, and then you look at Kyle Rudolph.
But now we're getting a little too deep with it, right?
Yeah, they actually took Kyle Rudolph's number down just now. It was down here at the bottom at 7.5. Also, Tyreek Hill's number is up to 83.5 from 82.5. Kelsey's also up by a yard. And Shepard's up by a yard.
Yeah, everything's just getting bet up.
Yeah, it's either getting bet up or they're listening to us.
Or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are coming home from work and they're like, oh my gosh, Tyreek Hill, 82.5, come on.
Yeah, Big Jim said, I think Tony is good for yardage over and Shepard better for receptions over. So let's take a look at the receptions numbers for these guys.
That would make sense, actually.
Yeah, so where are we at? Tony receptions 4.5 over under. Shepard 5.5. But you get a nice plus 120 on the over 5.5. I think. I don't really know. I mean, Shepard definitely does pile up the receptions. I mean, 7, 9, and 10 in the 3 games he's been healthy. I like both. This, now that you mention it, with the plus 120, this over 5.5 catches actually does feel really nice.
Six catches, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, again, he's had 7, 9, and 10 in a game that they're 10.5-point dogs. Lot of fruit. Word of the day is fruit.
Yeah, fruit.
On this Giants offense in the passing attack. That is for sure. Jim Allen says, I've been losing connection. Is Ben doing the teaser for this game? No, I think Ben's going to do his teaser next week.
Well, I have it.
What's your teaser?
Well, I got to see what the number's at now. It moved because it was pre-Von Miller, and now I don't even know. But it was the Cowboys teased from 8 to 2, and then the Browns teased from 3 to 9. That's my teaser.
Yeah. And for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, Ben and I were pretty confident on opposite sides of one of yesterday's games. That was the Titans-Colts game. I was on the Titans side and was on the Colts side. It was a close game. It went to overtime. I don't feel like it's necessary. I won the bet, and I don't necessarily think it's fair that you lost. But we both hate teasers, so the loser has to place a teaser bet.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Wong teaser, at least on one side. Actually, depending on it's close to both. If it's 2.5, but I don't know. What do you see the Browns number at?
Oh, what do I see the Browns number at? I'll take a look later.
Okay.
My tabs are the ones that are up on the screen, so.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So let's move on to touchdown props. Is Max still here? I don't know if Max is still here. I don't see Max's name in the viewer list. So I'm going to assume that he left. So we're not going to look. Well, we can still take a peek. Are you Jay Ballin says, are you sure you don't want to just try and tackle Derrick Henry now?
He still would run over my ass with a broken whatever.
Yeah, Derrick Henry on crutches. Imagine the stiff arm with the crutch.
Kill you.
Just like just swat him out of the way.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
What? Imagine football, but everybody has crutches. Like, you don't need to use the crutches to like walk with the crutches, but you can just like hit people with them.
Well, Jameis Winston was in the locker room celebrating with his crutches.
Yeah, I saw. That was a great video.
That was pretty good.
That was fantastic. But yeah, so touchdown props. I'm going to move over to PointsBet because I think they have the cleaner interface for this. So anytime touchdown score. We got Tyreek Hill, minus 160. Travis Kelce, minus 131. We've got
Tyreek Hill's minus 160.
Yeah.
Have we lost our minds?
No. I mean, so minus 160, you need what percent chance for him to score a touchdown? You need...
It's going to be like...
61.54% chance to score a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, this year, has played 7 games. He's scored touchdowns in 3 of them.
It just seems like, I don't know. It seems like
bad value.
Yeah, bad value.
I think that's the words we're looking for.
What's our boy Tony at?
Hold on. Yeah, I want to make sure. So PointsBet has terrible odds for this. So on DraftKings, Hill is minus 135, which seems much more reasonable.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, minus 160.
Yeah, that's like, it's like you're on crack if you think that I'm going to bet that.
Well, people are still probably betting it.
That's true. So Tony, I must have just... Oh, he's all the way down here.
Really?
Plus 350. For Kadarius Toney. So I will say, Tony has not scored a touchdown this year.
That's okay. I mean, he's been in and out.
Yeah, I mean, he's had the ball in his hands 25 times. 23 catches and 2 runs.
Yeah, I didn't look at red zone targets or anything like that, but that's my play if Max is watching.
Yeah, so I think Tony either, plus 350 to just score, plus 2,500 as a first touchdown scorer. If there's a touchdown bet, that's one that I like. So you want to do favorite props for today's game?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so what do we got?
You started off.
Okay, so I am first going to find where this is. Here we go. I'm going to take my boy Daniel Jones. Not going to go just passing, not going to go just rushing. We're going to go over 286.5 passing yards plus rushing yards for Daniel Jones. And if you don't have the passing plus rushing available, I like just the passing yards over 255.5, I believe it is. Oh, 252.5 now for Jones. Nice.
Can you pull up the passing yardage or receiving yardage for Kadarius Toney so I can see what it's at?
Looking at 53.5.
Okay. That's going to be mine. I like his over Kadarius Toney over 53.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, so we've got some correlated plays. I like it. Daniel Jones to Toney, and we're both looking good.
Yeah, and tack on that touchdown prop for Toney. He's going to get his today at plus 350.
Big Germ says Toney was targeted 3 times in the end zone, and each time there was DPI.
Yeah, they've been cheating on my boy.
They've been cheating on your boy?
Yeah, that sounded weird.
It did.
Don't be cheating on my boy.
What are you going to do if they do cheat on your boy?
I'm going to bet it again and again and again.
Going to roll up and hit you with a crutch.
I'm going to go come at Jackson Mahomes.
Ben, it's a good thing you just got your Toney in when you did, because it just went up to 55.5 immediately following you saying it was your favorite bet.
Nice. Lock it in, baby.
I locked it in. I swear, Draftkings is watching us. They know.
That's kind of crazy. I locked it in at 51.5, I think, earlier today. And it was, I think it opened up at 49.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are realizing, oh, wait. He's healthy and he's really good.
Or, like, I can see people, like, hitting up their group message being like, hey, is this Toney guy any good? And they're like, dude.
I've been in the kitchen cooking up some plays. That's my favorite saying.
Or they'll be like, did you not watch him in college? That's the SEC folks, man. That's their favorite shit. They're just like, oh, man, he was a beast in college, man. Yeah, he's good.
No, he went to an SEC school. He was a 5-star recruit.
Yeah, he's played against NFL caliber players before.
I mean, they're all playing against NFL caliber players right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up the first part of today's stream. We have another segment coming up. This is our prop swap segment, but this is relevant to this game because it involves this game. So, Ben, are you ready to hop in to the prop swap segment?
Yeah.
So here we go. This is a crazy ticket that somebody posted. Or some crazy bet that somebody made. So some lunatic out there bet Mike White to have the most passing yards in Week 8 in the NFL. Put $1,000 on it at 125 to 1. As I'm sure we're all aware of at this point, Mike White threw for 405 yards in the Jets' win over the Bangles this week. Every other quarterback that played yesterday, plus the 2 that played on Thursday, have gone under that 405 number, which means that there's only 2 left. The 2 playing tonight, Daniel Jones and Patrick Mahomes. So this ticket, $1,000 to win $125,000, hits if Daniel Jones and Patrick Mahomes both go under 405.5 passing yards. Or 404.5 passing yards. It is on sale on PropSwap for $100,000. I don't have $100,000. But if you do, you could go buy this ticket right now. Ben, do you think that this is a good value?
Well, first of all, I think this is great that it's coming down to this game just because we have 2 guys, Jones and Mahomes, who are very capable of going over this number. Especially the game script if one team's down, especially Daniel Jones. I mean, he could have a 400-yard game and the Giants still lose. That could definitely happen. Or Mahomes could just go off and this is like a shootout type game. Man, is it a good value?
Yeah, so the value of this ticket right now, the way that it's priced, $100,000 to win $125,000, that places it at minus 400. Implied chance of 80%. So basically what we're asking is there a 20% or better chance that one of these guys goes over 405?
No.
I think it's a little bit hard to quantify. I think that it's certainly a huge risk. Because I mean the Chiefs' pass D has been terrible. Daniel Jones has already had a 400-yard passing game this year. Patrick Mahomes can just absolutely shred you apart. I mean, that being said, the numbers for these guys, 303.5 and 252.5, we're looking at more than 100 yards, going over by more than 100 yards to hit this. So we kind of know what a minus 115 for each of them is. If you're to parlay the minus 115 and the minus 115, let me pull this up real quick.
Well, Nick, real quick while you do that, I was just going to say Mahomes last season, if you were curious, he had a 462-yard game, 416, and then 393. So only 2 over that number last season.
Yeah, so I do feel like this at $100,000 is a good value. So even just both of these guys to go, wait a second, that doesn't even make any sense. Never mind. But yeah, so I feel like it's a good value.
And Clockworks, Tropicana, or Tropica, not Tropicana.
No,
Tropica.
It is Tropicana.
Oh, Tropicana. Sorry, I was reading what he wrote. Tropicana, they're not offering that. That would be via PropSwap. So if PropSwap, he put this on, or he or she put this on the platform, the marketplace, someone can come in and purchase the ticket for the set dollar amount. That's more or less how PropSwap works.
Yeah, I have no idea if the book would offer any kind of cash out on this.
Yeah, typically they don't. And if they do, you're not getting good value on it. If you've ever seen the cash out options for books like FanDuel, you're getting pretty bad value. It's definitely minus EV. But it's guaranteed money, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I honestly, I'd probably be happy, like people are saying, to get $75K for this.
You wouldn't let it ride?
Probably not.
At 75, I'd let it ride. If I could get 100, I would take 100.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all relative too, right? Like if you're saucy or something, then you let it ride.
And I bet this guy, well, I guess if he put it on PropSwap, then maybe he doesn't care. But I don't know what his intentions are. He's got the popularity though now. The attention is about this ticket. So, oh my gosh, what a bad beat if it's like a last second catch by like Kyle Rudolph. And he puts Daniel Jones over 404.
Or what if they go over, and then there's like a screen pass at the end of the game that loses yardage to take them back under.
Yeah, man. I mean, did you see what happened in that Clemson-Florida State game?
No, what happened?
Well, apparently, I think the total, it was 20 to 27, I think. Maybe I'm getting the numbers mixed up. Either way, they ran your classic hook and ladder, like, 1,000 laterals, right, to try to get the ball in the end zone, except they were going backwards, and it ended up resulting in a scoop and score by the defense. and that touchdown made Clemson cover and also took the game over the total.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's 100% going to be on bad beats tonight. With Scott
That's like a double
segment.
bad beat.
Yeah, and also I think the Florida Atlantic UTEP one may make the cut too. Is it a good or bad thing when you have bets on bad beats where you're like, hey, at least they acknowledged it, or is it to the point where you're like, I don't want to see this again?
I mean, so hopefully 50% of the time when you have a bet on there, it's because you won.
Yeah. Well, so far it's if it is on there, it's going to be over too.
Yeah, I love that segment. It's a great segment.
Yeah, the college basketball ones are by far the best.
Oh, I cannot wait for college basketball season. We got 8 days.
Yep.
8 days.
Well, the only way he can hedge is if he has cash and liquid, because I mean he could bet on.
I mean he bet $1,000 on Mike White to have the most passing yards. He probably has some cash, but
Nick,
it is a hard bet to hedge because you need somebody to take tens of thousands of dollars on action on these guys going over an alternate passing yard number.
Yeah, and what books? I guess PointsBet you could do like a. I mean, I don't know what book is saying over under 400 yards for Mahomes and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple that offer sliders on props.
Yeah, but who's going to take $100K on a slider?
I mean, they're not going to take. You basically have to do like an SGP with those.
Yeah.
Or no, you don't. It's the complement of the and is an or. So, but still, you're looking at. I mean, to effectively hedge this, you looking at like, and it's also 2 different bets that you have to place to hedge it, which makes it hard. So your payout, if you win the hedge, is only going to be a third of the $125K.
Right.
So you're looking at more like $42,000. So you're looking at. I mean, it's not great. It's not an easy bet to hedge.
Yeah, not at all.
And I think that's why PropSwap is such a great platform for this bet. So it's in a sense it's unhedgeable. So the way that you hedge is by cashing out.
Yep.
Daniel Jones to have 400 plus passing yards and 3 plus passing touchdowns is plus 2,000. Yeah, I think the passing touchdowns are what makes that go over. I'm actually curious. So PointsBet does have all of these alternate, like the custom props type of deal.
But how high can you go though?
And I'm actually not seeing any of them up. Is it Draftkings that allows you to do the sliders?
There's no. I think the sliders are on BetMGM, and then Caesars has sliders too. Daniel Jones over 405 is plus 750.
Okay. Here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my parlay calculator over here. We're gonna say Jones plus 750, and then we'll say that Mahomes is plus 650. Oh, Mahomes 337. Perfect. So we're looking at. Oh, what are the unders? Because that's what we actually need to know.
Oh yeah.
To know what the odds are. You could work it out from those, but it's more complicated and requires pencil and paper, which I don't feel like doing. But I'm really curious to see. I'm sure that this guy did something like this to figure out how to price it at 100K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
So 750 implied odds 11.76%. If we flip that around, we get 88.24. So we're looking at like a minus. Oh, with no vig, you just reverse them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna say that there's no vig. Place $100,000 on that parlay. You're looking at a payout of about $47,000. So if those are the correct odds, then at $100,000, this is a fantastic ticket. You're getting it at like minus 200, or you're getting it at like minus 400, where the real price should be more along the lines of minus 200. And just from a theoretical standpoint, I mean, that has to be a good bet to make.
Yeah.
You just have to have $100,000.
It's going to be a fun little side thing to watch for in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Back of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Got Daniel Jones going in fantasy this week. I hope he gets 405. I already won, but
It'd be nice still.
Well, gonna go for 2 straight weeks, higher scoring team in the league. 2 straight weeks, picking up that biggest blowout cash prize.
Yep. Nick, let's hop on to the week 9 lines and real quick. We don't have to go through each one, but let's just talk about the teaser because I gotta see what the numbers are at currently.
Okay, let's do that. So, look ahead lines for week 9. Feels crazy. Week 9. That's the halfway mark.
Yeah.
We've got Jets and Colts. Colts at home, favored by 10.5, total of 46.5. I feel like the Jets are the move there. I mean, it is kind of buying high on the Jets, selling low on the Colts, in a way. Mike White's not going to have 405 passing yards again.
I feel like I got in with the Jets, hit a jackpot on the slot, and then I'm cashing out. That's how I feel about the Jets.
All right. So no leans here off the top of your head?
Nah. I have to look deeper into this one.
Bills and
Colts.
Jaguars. Bills favored by 14 on the road, total at 49.
I'm not sure about this one either.
Yeah, Jags. I don't know what to make of the Jaguars. I feel like they kind of look good against bad teams, but then they also look good for a half against the Bangles, and they look really bad against some better teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what to make of this one right now.
I also didn't watch any of that game, but the box score was
ugly.
It was weird. Yeah, because the Jags actually looked like they would have only lost by a touchdown based off the box score. So it's kind of weird.
Raiders and Giants. Giants 3-point dogs at home. Total of 47.5. I feel like we kind of have to see what the Giants do today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Patriots and Panthers. Patriots 3.5-point favorites on the road. Total set at 41.
You know everyone's going to be on the Patriots in this one.
I kind of like the Patriots.
Yeah. That number's going to go up.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And Panthers did pull out a win yesterday. But it wasn't because they played particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they made like 5 field goals or something.
Ooh, the over is an interesting look.
Yeah, it is sitting at 41. I mean, the Panthers, they cannot score touchdowns right now. I mean, they've scored...
Yeah. So 4 field goals that game?
Let me pull it up so we can be correct. I mean, they scored 19 points in that game. Zane Gonzalez, 4 field goals. Yeah, so 4 field goals and a touchdown last week. The week before, they only scored 3 points against the Giants. The week before, I mean, they did put up 28 on the Vikings. But again, I think that's only 3 touchdowns. The offense is definitely struggling right now. Next up, Browns and Bangles. This is one of the ones that you're looking at. Bengals, 2.5-point favorites at home. Total set at 46.5. So you're looking to take Browns plus 8.5 as a potential teaser leg.
Yes, love it.
Is this a potential wrong team favored?
It could be. It really could be.
Yeah, both of these teams. I mean, every team to an extent is hard to figure out what they are. But what are the Bengals doing?
Right, 2 weeks ago.
They looked like
had one of the best
legitimate
offensive performances I think of the season.
Yeah, they destroyed a really good Baltimore team, and then yesterday or earlier this week, what happened?
Lose to the Jets.
The opposite. Yeah, they lost to the Jets. Broncos and Cowboys. Cowboys currently minus 9.5 at home.
Oh my goodness!
Assuming Dak Prescott is playing.
Wow.
I mean, this line is not 9.5 if Cooper Rush is in at quarterback.
I mean, I guess I still go with the teaser leg, but I did give it out in the Discord last night, but it was at 8. I'll stick with it.
All right.
So 9.5. I'll tease it down to 3.5.
Feels like a.
I think this line, Nick, could get to 11 or 12. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I mean, if Dak is playing, it probably should be there.
Yeah. I feel like this is one of those numbers where it's right in the middle. So if Cooper Rush is announced, it's going to move to like 7.
Mm-hmm.
And if Dak is announced, it moves closer to 12. I mean, the Broncos right now, they're lucky to even win the game last week or yesterday against the Washington football team. They look bad. You're on the road, early time slot. It doesn't seem like a good spot for the Broncos after Vaughn's gone too. I mean, I don't know what to expect in this one. It could get ugly.
That good.
Ezekiel Elliott could run for 100. I'm gonna be looking at that prop.
Next game, Baltimore Ravens minus 5.5 at home against Minnesota. So Baltimore blown out by Cincy in week 7, as we just talked about, coming off a bye this week.
Well, you tell me, Nick.
I kind of like the Ravens, but it's hard to trust them. They look so good one week, and then they have an absolute clunker the next week. I mean, they've had some great games, had some terrible games, and not really any in between.
Yeah, but also Mike Zimmer is on the hot seat too.
Is that a good or a bad thing? I mean, you only get on the hot seat through being a bad coach.
Yeah, this is a number 5.5 that I think it ends up at like 6.5, but
yeah, I don't think it'll move to a key number.
Yeah, I don't see many people running to bet Vikings at 5.5, maybe 6, but
I don't know. I don't see many people running to bet this game at all. Falcons and Saints. Saints 6-point favorites at home, despite not having Jameis Winston. Over under set at 42.5. So that under feels good. With the Saints run D and the Falcons issues in the passing attack, no Calvin Ridley. Trevor Siemian at quarterback for the Saints. I mean, even if it's effective offense, it's going to be through the Saints running the ball.
Mm-hmm. And the Saints have a pretty good red zone defense too.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they move the ball, Falcons might have to resort to converting some key 3rd or 4th downs. So yeah, I kind of like that under.
And yeah, I agree with you, Big Jim. Yeah, depending on Falcons' team total number, potential under spot. Texans and Dolphins. Dolphins, even 7-point favorites at home. Over under set at 46. And thank you, T5 Dimes, for the follow. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any thoughts on this one? I mean,
this is
the Texans are just.
You said something yesterday about like the ugliest game, and I'm like, well, we'll see. But this one, This could be uglier than anything we've seen so far. I don't know what to expect with this.
No, I'm just avoiding anything involving the Texans. That's my take. Chargers and Eagles. Eagles 2.5-point dogs at home. Over under set at 50.5.
Ooh. So Nick, I will say I've been pretty on point with the Chargers as a team because last game I did feel like Patriots were the move there at that number.
Huh?
But Chargers minus 2.5 on the road. It's a big game for them. Just considering the AFC West right now. I have faith that they can bounce back. I kind of like that number at 2.5 for the Chargers.
I think I agree.
I mean, Herbert's had 2 bad games in a row, though.
Yeah. I mean, is he a top 5 quarterback in the league right now?
Not right now.
I mean, how do you define right now? I mean, are you basing it on 1 week?
It's close.
I'll
say
it's a
this.
big concept.
He is for sure a top 10. He's flirting with top 5 because, you're going to have Kyler Murray, Lamar, Brady, Rodgers. So he's right around there. But, yeah, two games, 195 against the Ravens, 223 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game before, he almost hit 400. So,
yeah, I mean, he's been up and down.
yeah.
I mean, and Big Jim, I'm with you. Texans, Dolphins, over under 10 minutes of my life I spend watching the game. I'm on the under. I'm on the under as well. You could put it at like 2.5 or 3.5 minutes. Like, how much time will it be on Red Zone? How much exposure? how much incidental exposure do I risk having to it? And then nothing on top of that.
Yeah. Vikings, Ravens will be on at the same time. So Nick will be watching that, and I'll just watch the Broncos get their ass kicked at 11 against the Cowboys. So that's cool. At least the Packers, Chiefs will be. Yeah, there's actually. Wow. There's 3-4 really good games. 3 in the later time slot, and then the night game. You have Chargers, Eagles, Packers, Chiefs, Cardinals, 49ers, and then Titans, Rams. Von Miller.
Mm-hmm.
So
this Packers-Chiefs game, tentatively, without the results of tonight's game, we're looking at Chiefs minus 2.5 at home, total 55. Again, just like the Giants game before, I think we have to wait to see what happens tonight. I think a good performance from the Chiefs moves this to the other side of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Bad performance from the Chiefs. I mean, we could see this move in the other direction, at least early in the week.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, San Francisco. Cardinals, 2.5-point favorites at home. Total 46.5.
What's the status of Kyler Murray?
I think he's out.
So he's out of this game.
I think he's going to miss 1 to 2 weeks, was the prognosis.
So we can get the 49ers at plus 2.5 at home with no Kyler Murray.
Yes. Do we want
Who's the
that?
backup?
I don't know. I have like 10 names running through my head. The Cardinals are just a wasteland of mediocre quarterbacks, or at least they had been before Kyler Murray.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Interesting. Names in my head, I was like, I know none of these guys are actually the backup now, but it's like John Skelton, Drew Stanton. Just like
Josh
blast from the
Rosen?
past. Josh Rosen, yeah. I remember that name.
Yeah.
Haven't played in the league in 10 years.
My guess here is we probably won't give this out, and we probably won't bet this game.
That's where I'm at also. But yeah, I mean, so the Packers are one of the best teams in the league. I mean, they actually might literally have the best record in the league right now. So losing to them is not a detriment. I don't think that's a big negative. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I mean, after Hopkins got hurt, I mean, he wasn't on the field. The offense went dead. So a little hard to tell. I mean, also with the week to game plan for no Hopkins, it should look a little better.
Yeah.
We've got one more. Tennessee and the LA Rams. Rams 7.5-point favorites at home. Of course, no Derrick Henry for Tennessee. It's going to be the Adrian Peterson, Jeremy McNichols show.
God,
Total set at
AP's
54.
Nick, AP's the one guy. I know he's had some injuries, but
all day.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't had more injuries, and that sounds kind of weird to say, but how is he still walking? He's 36.
Yeah.
36.
Pulling
That's
up Jameis
crazy.
Winston.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Kadarius Toney, Big Jer.
I'm
just riding that to the grave at this point.
Yeah, I think I like Tony as well. But yeah, I need to think about this more. I mean, it's so hard to. The Titans' offense relies so much on Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really, since he became the full-time starter, we haven't really seen them without him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just he's been so reliably healthy for a couple years.
Also, does this turn the Titans into this just spread attack with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones?
Maybe it's possible.
They just
those are
have
two
like
really
four
good
wide
receivers.
with like Swain and Fisker, and then who's that slot guy? I always forget his name. Is it Reynolds or is
Rodgers?
it Rodgers?
I mean, they also have Reynolds.
Yeah,
They have a Josh Reynolds and a Chester Rogers.
Yeah, they're gonna have to really rethink their whole offense because I think Derrick Henry is probably one of maybe two guys healthy, maybe Saquon if he's healthy, that you can run a style like that. I think they're gonna have to rethink their whole offensive strategy without him now.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I mean, my instinct tells me Rams, but I need to look at it more. Also curious to see what the model has to say.
Kind of like the over too, Nick.
Do you? I mean, we're really trusting Tennessee being able to convert their system.
I know.
54 is a lot of points.
It is. Maybe it gets bet down a little bit.
It's possible. It doesn't feel like we're getting any discount for Henry being out.
Yeah. Alrighty. We're gonna call it.
Yeah, we are going to call it. Thank you all for being here. As always, appreciate each and every one of you very much. If you are not in the Discord, be sure to check that out. There's a link that's been popping up in the chat throughout the stream, but here it is one more time. Got to update that command. We have many more than 650 people in there by now. It's close to 900, actually.
You're on it.
Oh, you're... Wait, what'd you say? Your mic... You went very robotic for a second. Yeah.
We are close. Yeah, I think almost to 1,000 now. So.
Mm-hmm. So that's good. Be sure to check that out if you haven't. Also, if you have an Amazon Prime account, like I see that Big Jer does, because he's got a little blue badge next to his name, you link your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account. Amazon owns Twitch. You're not giving Big Jeff any extra information. He already has it all. But you can subscribe for free to a Twitch channel every month. So if you've already linked your accounts, click the subscribe button, the purple subscribe button on the stream to see if you have that available. You have to manually renew it every month. Use it on us, use it on somebody else, but make sure you use it. It's one of the perks you pay for with Twitch Prime, or with Amazon Prime. It doesn't cost you anything else. Just takes a couple dollars a month from Jeff and gives it to us instead, or gives it to somebody instead. So be sure to do that.
Yep.
Stream-wise, for sure, back on Thursday for Thursday Night Football next week. I already forget what game that is. It's looking like Jets and Colts. Exciting, exciting, exciting. You probably maybe have something college football planned?
Yeah, I actually think I'm gonna reach out to Chase and we're gonna try to get one on the books here.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get something up, and we'll keep you posted on the Discord.
Yeah, and be sure to keep an eye out for college basketball. Next Tuesday, week from tomorrow. I'd like to stream. Even if you're not going to stream, I'll stream by myself. But I'm excited.
No, we'll stream.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, we'll let you know what the schedule is. Probably Tuesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Saturday, depending on if we stream early morning on Saturday or. Well, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yep. So yeah, we will wrap it up here. Again, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
Good
See
luck
ya.
with the bets.